we delivered it. It's all here now. Nice. Pretty good too. I could probably power like what, 3-4 of my apartments from this thing. Good stuff. So we just got 50 1 kilowatt units, 30 2 kilowatt units. So these are all the 2 kilowatt units. These are all the 1 kilowatt units. Everything here minus 10 is ours, and they can get more units by February, March. So when they appear at retail in Sweden, you should all buy them grid to go because they support Ukraine, and it's better than ecoflow. I'll tell you why. This is what we're going to do, and we'll keep moving forward with it. And I'm very, 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 very pleased. Thank you for your patience. These got held up in Rotterdam because Rotterdam's a free port and we imported less than a container the first time. So it's really, really messy because you don't declare it there, you declare it in Sweden, and the shipping companies, only certain ones want to deal with that. But we're learning, and I won't bore you with it. Thanks, guys. We paid for almost every one of these units, and the company here fronted the bill as much as they could. So I can pay off the rest now, which is a big, big, big help that we were able to like use someone's capital, because these have to be ordered months in advance. We've got 80 units.
Thanks a lot, Brendan, and thanks a lot for all your supporters. That's gonna go to 79 to help a very good friend.
And he's only got one eye?
He got one eye. He lost an eye in America.
Show them your gun, because Americans always like guns.
It's Soviet Makarov.
Yeah, you can't hit me from here, so I can say whatever I want. All right, just get me the video for him, and I'll get him more. I'll get you more too. So this guy JB, he's pretty sexy, as you can see. He's French.
Hello,
ladies. And yeah, we knew each other the first couple of weeks of the war, and knew Sam, knew a lot of people. And then we went to fucking Kharkiv with that retarded Mark.
Yeah,
Mark.
we had a very fun night.
We got arrested together. Do you want to do one of these one day? One of my in-car interviews. We can talk about what happened in Poltava.
Oh, sure. I love it. It was a funny time.
Don't die. Let's do that next month. You can get in my white car. I'll bring you some candy.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for supporting. JB, he's an LGBT NATO instructor for the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and he's giving vital training. Let's get out of here. I'll help you load up. Dimitri, how many animals have you got in your zoo now?
4.
4. All right, let's eat.
Kraken,
Kraken grows.
Jack.
He's
Pixie.
like triple the size. Everybody, thank you for donating. Help Vitaly again, because they already get 1 ecoflow destroyed since last time we've been here. Give your love to the babushkas.
Thank you, babushka.
And men too. We also men. Well, hey guys, thank you very much. We were able to collect 80 ecoflows on this collection. It's the biggest ever yet. And these are all my friends from Marines. Just want to say thank you everyone for supporting.
Thank you so much.
Thanks guys. And give me the photo. And thank Tilda. Because if Tilda don't do the paperwork, I'm...
Well, yes,
Yeah.
this is true, actually, this is very true.
And I just need one photo. Hey guys, we're back here with 25 Brigade. All our commitment for drone effort from now on, we're moving forward for 2025. We've got 11 charging stations. We've got 50,000 grivna, and we have another 5,000 euros of Mavic components, mainly gimbals, because that's breaking the most. This is Griff, he's the man. And we just want to keep doing this, so I want to say thank you so much for your support.
Тож хочу подякувати Тільді та Брендону за те, що надали цю допомогу. Цим всім ми оснастимо екіпажі, які ми випускаємо і готуємо, і вони успішно будуть виконувати бойові завдання і знищувати ворога, і це дуже допоможе. На ті кошти ми забезпечимо їм нормальний побут і проживання, частково, але забезпечимо так. Дякую вам.
We couldn't do anything without Tilda, because Tilda's...
I don't know, your mental health provider? Something like this. No, thank you so much to all of Brandon's donors. This is actually incredibly awesome. All of these things are highly needed. and they have a direct impact on their combat capabilities. So it's really, really cool. Thank you so much for supporting this and supporting him.
This is the guy. This is the guy. Razom do paranoia, motherfucker.
Разом до кінця.
Слава Україні. Дякую. Дякую вам.
So I think this is the third question and answer video I've ever done on YouTube. Right now I'm on a boat from Sweden to Poland, and by the time you see this, I'll probably be in Malta at a medical conference. It's my third medical conference. The second one I was invited to, and to be honest, purely out of self-interest, the man who invited me there, because I didn't think anything would come out of it for Ukraine as such, well, I would have been a fool to say no. But we came out big, and potentially it could really help Army radiology. The first medical conference I didn't get shit, and this one I'm just going for fun. And you never know. You never know. So we'll get into it. What I did in the community, I asked if you ask a question that you leave your name and where you're from. Human from Earth doesn't cut it. My name is Brandon Mitchell. I grew up in Miramichi, New Brunswick, Canada. And I'm sure Russia and other people, not to be egoistic, have a greater interest in me. Maybe some of you, I don't know. There is some interesting people there, and I don't mean just interesting. Don't stop emailing. First one is from Moz, from Oaxaca in Mexico. That's where they take the peyote and the button mushrooms and you have visions, if I'm correct. What is the most morale boosting thing an active soldier can receive during the war? What they need, what they ask for, what they dare not ask for, because they're not used to getting it. Some units are very well funded. Popular units will get like NAFO support, say for example, grassroots volunteers who will work geographically in their area, or they could work in their field, drones, thermal imagery, medical, cars, some more specialized things, to get what you need to do your job. Above all, things like chocolate. Now, Tilda gives out some very, my friend Tilda, I talk about her a lot. She gives out a lot of very valuable aid given to her by corporations, companies, förenings as they call them in Sweden. If she were to give out chocolate, I'm sure that would be greatly acceptable, but probably not from a middle-aged man such as myself. I don't think it would have that same effect for morale boosting. But yeah, we can buy everything in Ukraine, but unfortunately there's certain things, there's just great cost differences, so they have to be brought in from Europe through volunteer networks. It's what they need is what does the best. Carol in California, can you tell me about your medical procedures, especially your shoulder surgery? Okay, so this shoulder, you can barely see it here, it's a good cut. I had AC joint surgery 4.5 years ago, and I have 100% function of my left shoulder. So basically what happens between the clavicle and the shoulder socket, there's cartilage, and it starts to split, like rip a piece of paper, if you would. That's going on in my right shoulder. The Swedish healthcare system is very slow. There is a really good surgeon who has agreed to do the surgery for me in Kiev for free, but he's went to Donbass for a month and it's been 3 months. The other doctor, so he saved my friend Bambi's legs. He was the driver when Cheka died. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to do a cortisone. Problem is, it will just continue to degenerate over a couple of years and I will need the surgery. So as I'm very familiar with the prognosis, I'm really hoping to get this shoulder surgery. My brain, my medulla, there's a dead spot. The first MRI was in August and the follow-up one in December. There's been no progress, so my brain's not becoming deader and my stupid remains the same. Stomach is an ongoing issue, but I'm getting some success. Cousin, Kenzin from Curitiba, from your beloved Curitiba, I'll tell you about that. Last time you said staying in Ukraine after the war was not interesting to you. What changed? So, I don't think I would live in Ukraine full time, maybe part time, perhaps in Sweden, maybe elsewhere. I would need to earn a living.
but Ukraine has become a very warm place to me. Like Sabir said to me, he says, where will you go? You know, you will not find a warm country to you as you will here. I have certain talents, I have certain abilities, I have experiences. I want to help develop the amateur boxing program in Ukraine. This is a big passion of mine. I think my last fight was about 4 months before Corona, 4 or 5 months before Corona. And when I moved to Sweden, I got involved with Hammarby Boxing Club. I really liked it. Then my shoulder went, and I just didn't have time with Swedish school too. I didn't want it bad enough. That's it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to bullshit you. But I could really be a powerhouse. I'm a good manager. I have trained people before. The Swedish heavyweight champion 2 years ago, 28 fights in, he had no footwork. Sweden is a great country, but they don't have the fundamentals of boxing. Ukrainians do, you know, so I don't know what I can do there, but I can manage a club, and maybe I can even use my platform. If you guys stick with me, I wouldn't do videos as often, but to ensure that that club has everything, you know, that we have a mini band to get to tournaments, use my contacts in the UK to get Ukrainian kids to compete on a European level, you know, to give them opportunities. And whatever else happens, happens. But there will be another war. Mark from South Africa, you mentioned before you'd like to make Ukraine your home. Yes, he was asking, do I have a region in mind? It would probably be Kiev or Odessa. I really like people from Odessa. A lot of people say, oh, it's a Russian city. They're working class people. Do you know, like I get like a Liverpool, Mancunian vibe, not a London vibe. Not that Kiev is stuck up their own arse, some of them maybe are. But it would have to be somewhere with a population base. So I could continue to, obviously with boxing, like if you went to a neighborhood like Tryeshina, which is a bit rough in Kiev, you know, you could develop a good boxing club there. You could, you know, put in 20, 30 years of your life and you could really have something, you know, maybe even like the Kronk in Detroit. You know, people don't, I'm talking about my interest here, but like Emmanuel Stewart saved a lot of lives, and he just happened to get 30 world champions. Like my friend Les, if you watch the old videos, Arena has had a couple, amateur club has had a couple amateur European champions, but they do it to help the kids, and if you get champions, it's gravy. Boxing. Tina, UK. Yeah, Tina, you're a Mancunian, aren't you? Maybe you're from Bolton. A light-hearted one. What's your favorite karaoke song to sing? I'm pretty camp. I say a little prayer for you. I like that. Or maybe like Baywatch. Some people stand in the darkness, afraid to step into the light. You know, like stuff like that. Like that might be good. Yeah. My platform is plummeting. Timur from Germany. Why Ukraine is not building defensive lines like Russia in 23 or like Finland or the French did? Well, the Maginot line, we know what happened there. The Mannerheim line in Finland, if I'm scoring any points with you, I don't know enough to speak about it, okay? But you did very well. What I can tell you, in Donbass, I don't know about Zaporizhia because I haven't seen it. Donbass, in Sumy, it's becoming much more extensive. A lot of dragon's teeth. So that's the big concrete pillars to stop the armored or to funnel the armored. There's more mines going in. There's more Constantinov wire, razor wire as well. What's happening in Kherson for the landing denials, you've actually paid for a lot of that. Probably about $10,000 of the money on this account that I have not shown yet. When it shows up on Russian Telegram, you can see that. Okay, now I'm not saying our small platform can make a difference there, but it has made a significant difference for marine efforts. But on a state level, I'm seeing more than ever. Is it too little, too late? Maybe, I don't know. This one here, Justin from Sydney. Where are you from, Cronulla? I've been around. It says, seems like an odd question, but I'm curious, if you go to Ukraine, do you need a Ukrainian driver's license? Are the road rules much different than Australia or other Western countries? They drive on the right, you drive on the left, so you've got that. No, you can drive on any driving license in Ukraine, And as for driving, I don't know how well traveled you are in the world. You get the vibe within a day of where you are. Scariest places is the Emirates, because 80% of the people are from somewhere else. So when you go on the motorway, they've got different habits. I've driven all over the world, all the continents except Antarctica. Who is Ali? Is she legit? Is Ali legit? Yeah, Ali's legit. Ali's legit. She's a big help to me. Okay. Next one here. So we've got, this is from Kim in the UK. How much difference do you think donations are making overall? I like to think that we match a small country with our collective support, although aware there's a lot of scams too. Trust you and Harley 100%. Me, Harley, no, there's no triad. No troika. I trust Harley a lot. All your money that you people donate to me, you people, I think over $100,000 at least would traded hands between me and Harley, and everything he delivers, every time. I would think now, with money, with volunteers, and it's like a business. Everybody's fighting for their market cap. Okay, whether you're Sniffing Brigade, whether you're Ukraine Aid Ops, whether you're Blue Gulabilan, whether you're Mission Ukraine, Quartermaster for Ukraine, whether you're an individual volunteer, they're all fighting to justify their work, to, I hope, show a result. It's probably in the billions. I think it's in the billions. Is it necessary? Absolutely. Is it effective? I think it is. I think it is. I have to think that what I do is effective. I know with my involvement with Quartermaster for Ukraine, I only pack the supplies. I have no say what goes on there. That's very much Tilda and Jonas. But, you know, maybe from those efforts in Sweden, Tilda reckons maybe 1,000 people have lived, because I don't know how many tourniquets, 10, 50,000 tourniquets so far. I've packed a couple thousand IFACs. Another thing, the monobanks in Ukraine. So you'll see on Instagram, you'll see on Facebook where they do collections for their units, their brigades, for their cousins. This is massive. When people say, well, all my tax money went there, why are they still having to ask for money? And some of them are saying this not as trolls. Some people are saying that with the best of wishes and respect for what I do, that in 2024, that, you know, that you'd have to do that for soldiers. So I served in the Canadian Army for 3 years, infantry, 2 years at the infantry school, and a year in the British Army with the Black Watch till I disgraced myself. The Canadian Army was never of the culture to buy their own kit, to buy their own clothing. I wore all of drab. I came in just when the CADPAT, the Canadian Uniform Estonians, is very similar, when that came in, and then the Gore-Tex came in, the Gore-Tex boots. Everybody was so happy, so happy. To go from black Cadillac boots to that, the point I'm getting at, in the British Army, I remember like Corporal Brady and the lads, they'd be like, Mitchell, what do you think of our kit? And I just look at them and I'd be like, I'm sorry, Corporal, it's shit. He's like, aye, it's shit, isn't it? Because they'd done training in Batas in Canada, in Medicine Hat, in the prairies. There's more British tanks in Canada than Canada has tanks. But they buy their own things. They buy snug packs, buffaloes. I think the British Army still does that, okay? Because that's quite common. American guys buying their own Oakleys. Many armies buy their own kit. It was really only once rifles came in when you couldn't bring your own sword. So it's a relatively recent phenomenon that armies would become completely equipped. Russian soldiers as well. We could talk about that more. I'm fairly knowledgeable. I've only ever seen 4 Russians alive, but I would probably know more than, like, anecdotally, than people on the internet. I think you make a big difference. That was a very long answer, because if you don't have what you don't have, then you're fucked. So people need to live long enough to survive enough contacts or evacuations. If you're a medic, protocol, people have died under the care of medics. You know, people have to survive long enough in the war, I think maybe 4 months till they become good. But they need that equipment. And then when they get better, they know what equipment they need. This is happening in Russia massively. And Auntie Paola from Italy, chemo. What did happen? So I don't want to scare anyone, but like Moss's mum has colorectal cancer and stage 3. So chemo's been going on since November, and all my Ukraine travels back and forth have cycled around the infusions. Okay, because if anybody's been through chemo, you can be very bad for a couple weeks and you can have a couple good weeks. So yeah, it's hard for her. It's hard for me too, if I'm honest. It's really hard. Family pitched in this chemo cycle. I had to bring a truck back for Tilda's truck. The windscreen smashed in, had to wait a few days. I was delayed. I didn't make it for that Friday chemo infusion. Her brother stepped up. He could step up more. You know, I show up, but I got another emergency. I was only in Sweden long enough to do laundry, to reload the van, to play with Mossa for a couple hours, and yeah, it's tough. I'm going to be back for the next chemo, and I'm going to stay for a couple of weeks in Sweden. She needs help. There's shit I need to do. I need to spend time with my dog, and I need to edit YouTube videos to show you where all your money's gone. I have a shitload of ecoflows we've given out. I'm just that busy. Matt from USA asked, could you talk about your decision in 22 to go to Ukraine? Well, leave the comfort and safety of my home, you said. It wasn't so comfortable, but it was safe. It was very safe. I lost everything I had in 2020 materialized. January had a massive downturn in my business. Not a problem. I can ride those through. Cash flow. But then in February, the events industry shut down for the whole world. Over the next 2 years, I found out I lost about 60% of my deposits for all of 2020. That's about an 80 grand lied out. The big hit I had in January and cleaned me out. I'm in Sweden. I'm a bus wanker. I learn Swedish. I finally get a job that I'm interested in, but it's 9 to 5. And the boss cares more about his work-life balance than he does his customers, even though when his company's fucking up. That's unacceptable to me. That is unacceptable. I grew up half Lebanese, and I'm gonna say something that you maybe not like. We're the Black Jews, you know. My father's a dark, dark man. You know, I've got this. I'm lucky. I'm gonna tell you the truth, but this, I know how to work, and my work ethic. When I moved to Sweden, I would start a business eventually, but I was living in hell. The people don't care about what they're doing as much as I do, and that they're my boss. You want to be my leader? So I was a failure, and then you carry that home. Then you get no respect at home, and if you don't get respect at home, you know what else you can get in. Yeah, I thought I'd take a chance. I'd roll the dice on Volodymyr. And wasn't for freedom, wasn't for democracy, wasn't for any of that stuff. And you know what? Anybody who fights the war doesn't give a shit about that either. It's just your friends. That's all it is to me now. It's the people that I show you on here. I want to show you that the love and respect and devotion I have to them, that they're fathers, brothers, sisters. Yeah, that's it. I just thought, what had I achieved in life, and maybe I should try to achieve something, and if it didn't work out, then that would be a good gamble. Grub from Wiltshire, are you a Christian? Does spiritual belief affect your life choices? I was raised a Catholic. There was a lot of pain growing up that way, but I'm very grateful for the concept of guilt and shame. If anybody grows up Catholic, I understand Jews are quite similar. The guilt, the shame, like if I didn't hold a door for someone, a woman, an elderly person, or anybody, that would bother me for like a few seconds. And we can take that on further in life, to take responsibility and availability, sense of community. One thing, I'm in a 12-step program. It's been 13 years since I've had a drink or a drug, one day at a time. I don't really make promises to you guys, and I'm involved with an aid organization in Sweden, and this is where morally I conflict, that we must do this, and same thing with Sniffing Brigade. It's very marketable, great things, but amazing things. But war doesn't work that way, neither does life. You know, what if we were to achieve our goals 150% of what we expected? I've done that many times. Goals I have in my head that I don't say publicly to you guys. Sometimes I failed. Sometimes I way short the mark. Just for today, one day at a time. Honesty in the sense that I do not lie to you here on this channel. I do not tell you the whole truth, because I don't think that to be responsible. I don't think that to be responsible, but I don't lie. Honest with myself and my own shortcomings. Maybe sometimes a little bit too much focusing on my shortcomings. Open-minded to learn new things. I can be slow at it though, because I'm tired. And sometimes I can be arrogant. And then the willingness to put that forward, the willingness to help, the willingness to try to be better. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. It's the fundamentals of a 12-step program. Yeah. I don't know if I believe in God. I don't know. Not anymore. Daryl from Ohio. What's the monthly salary of a Ukrainian soldier? Anywhere from 30,000 hryvnia to up to 120,000. So you could earn anywhere from $600-700 manning a block post in Lviv or Kiev. Actually less. You could earn over $3,000 a month, 3.5, if your commander was good with the paperwork for every day you were on contact line. 70,000 hryvnia a month, so what's that, 2,200 maybe dollars a month is probably what the average guy's getting. Victor from Åland, Finland. Yes, I know Åland. I've never been, I'd love to go. Do you still work with Rebecca Mastriowski? How is she doing? I don't work with Rebecca. Rebecca serves as the head battalion medic for one of the battalions in 53 Brigade. Probably the last time I talked to her would be a few months ago. She works very, very, very hard. She's one of the most dedicated people I've ever seen. Tilda does support her. Okay, so she has good support base, and she deserves it too. And she works very hard, and those men are infinitely better off having her. But I've not talked to her probably at least 3 months. I wish her well. Susan from British Columbia. I did a smallish contribution to your Canadian site by transfer, so that's an e-transfer. How do I know you got it? Well, you could write an email to my Aunt Jennifer on there. She's in New Brunswick. I'm sure she could search through them all and she could find that specific one. But if you did an e-transfer, like I assume many Canadians, that came in after I left, and if you got a confirmation, then she got it. So my Aunt Jennifer's a retired school teacher, and she's a Christian, for the last question. So if I didn't get the money, my Aunt Jennifer stole your money. So I can't say for sure, but I highly, highly doubt that. Wonder where in BC you're from. I love British Columbia. If I moved back to Canada, I would live in BC. Just once you cross those mountains, from Alberta, the air is different. I don't know where I'd live, in the interior, or I'd cross the Coquihalla, live on the lower mainland. I don't know where I'd live in BC, but it's gorgeous. And pacifist. Oh, pacifist. Pasi. That makes sense. From Finland. Could you share details on how you travel? Ferry, Germany, how many hours a day? Do they already remember you at the border? Yeah, so right now I'm on a boat, Sweden to Poland. I mean, you could take a ferry from Helsingfors or wherever you are. You could, you just gotta get across that bloody Baltic. Harley has to get across from, I don't know where he takes his ferry. I don't think he goes like Calais, Dover way. Maybe from Hull, yeah, into the Netherlands. But yeah, I just drive to Ukraine. I don't know how many hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever. You know, if I get tired, I get a hotel. The van I have now, I can sleep in the back on all the ecoflows, because I got the 2 kilowatt ones on the bottom and the 1 kilowatts all on the side. And I've got this really crappy IKEA mattress that rolls up to nothing. Yeah, so 10 hours, whatever I got, 12 hours. I drink about 4 energy drinks a year, so if I need one. Do they remember me at the border? The Polish are quite difficult recently. One time in Budimir, he was suggesting that I should pay a bribe before Christmas. I'm not trying to, I understand what he was saying indirectly. Go talk to the Ukrainian guys behind you, they'll tell you how to sort this problem. Probably not going to say that to a Finn, a Swede, to a Canadian, to a British. To another Eastern European, they might. Medica, could be Krakowitz. It's been getting more and more difficult. The paperwork process seems to be changing on the day, on the worker. Recently, one time it took me 3 borders. That's never happened before. Once I get into Ukraine, I'm fine. On the Ukraine side, they're lovely, and I speak enough to talk to them. It's very, very quick, and I think it is for most people. But yeah, I will drive as quick as I can. I mean, Kiev's the point, because usually Dimitri has something for me, or I have somewhere to stay. I would stay with Dimitri, but he's so messy. You know, I love him, but it just, IT nerds and their diet. I love them, but yeah, Kiev, Kramatorsk is about 7-hour run there. Kherson is about a 6-hour run from Kiev. It just makes sense to go to Kiev because you could bypass Kiev, but you wouldn't save a lot of time, you know. And then back in and out. I did go to Ukraine once through Denmark. I visited Georgie's. I visited him twice, by the way. I do genuinely like that man. I really do. His wife is from Chernihiv. I hope that's not a problem for me to say, but she's a lovely, lovely lady. Ethan, New York. Hey Brandon, do you have a sense whether the amount of support you receive, donations, otherwise, correlates at all with Ukraine's success, failures on the battlefield? Essentially, do you find a lot of people only want to help if they feel like they're backing a winning team? Well, there's retail donations, which I receive. I've also received some, I wouldn't call them retail donations. Now I have 2 significant donors who've switched from, who both said the same thing. They switched from large organizations, the truck convoys. I can't scale what I do, but I can do it a lot more efficiently. A lot of grassroots people, like how I advocated for Andre West. So if you're grassroots, if you have a personality or even a cult personality on Twitter or elsewhere, I don't quite understand Twitter, you will have your supporters who believe in what you do, same as anything. The organizations, the faceless organizations, and they really are essentially faceless because you don't think of any one person. I don't know how it works for them. Some will go for what we could call retail money. I know one that doesn't want to be associated with that. You know, they only want the right people, corporate people, high up government people, and they're using that to their own advantage for their future after the war, but they're also doing a lot of good things for the war, okay? So, I mean, we probably wouldn't exchange Christmas cards when this is all over, I could certainly say, but I'm grateful for that. Those type of people, I find with the bigger organizations, as I mentioned, they need a winning war. They pull a narrative that Russia is stupid, orcs must die. Go try it yourself. Sorry. I've had a very visceral experience. So whether it's winning or losing, it's not my concern. As I said before, it's about Yaroslava, it's about Sasha, you know, Paulina, Igor, these people that I just want, Nika, Max, I want to see them live. But so my platform does not, I don't think any of the grassroots volunteers, theirs would depend on what way the line is moving. They do, not many of them show as much proof of work as I like, but most of them I believe are honest from my experience. Some are definitely not, I know of, but I'm not, I think people should come to their own conclusions on that. But with the organizations or the ones that are tied in semi-government, semi on their own, and they want a certain type of donor or corporate, they need a winning war. They need to feel good about what they're doing, and they need trophies. They need, you know, all the badges from the army and stuff, and they're doing great things, but it's a very pleasant experience for them too, with sacrifice too. But that's a very good question, Ethan. one thing I will say I learned, my friend Tilda is very, very, very clever woman, you know, more clever than me. But when I went to speak I was invited by Ukraine to speak at the Swedish Defence Forum, and then, okay, well, we should turn this into a quartermaster for Ukraine thing, and to effect some support came that wouldn't have come if I was just there to share my knowledge. But what she told me, that Brandon, you know the weapon systems, and I do. I have a very broad knowledge, but an accurate knowledge of what works and what doesn't. And she told me, she says, you can't ask for something broadly that's British or American. You have to ask for Swedish, even if it's objectively not what's needed the most. So that's kind of obvious, because you have the politicians there, you have the defense companies, your Saabs, your Namos, your Hägglunds, which is BAE. So I had to go through and find out what all the Swedish weapon systems were and big them up. And they are very good. They're very good. But there's some things that I know the UK makes that would have, from my knowledge, would have been very interesting. So yeah, that's on the government side. Yeah, Ukraine is it's a political ambition. It's a political project, like the Anna of Kiev Brigade, for example. A new brigade. It's not only Zelensky. I would not criticize the president because I'm not in his position. But one thing I will say, the new brigades, the two policies I never agreed, three policies I never agreed with and vehemently oppose, was the mobilization. They should have mobilized when the people were motivated and wanted to join. We could have had Zelensky's 500,000 army increase. Had that had been done a year before Zelensky even spoke to The Economist, and then they would have been in the army, and then we could actually rotate our people out. The non-mandatory evacuations of civilians in Donbass, you know, but Ukraine, there's a certain degree of liberty there that exists that doesn't exist in other countries. Like I could see America forcing people out of their homes, but I could not see Ukraine forcing anyone to do anything by the state. You know, it's really quite remarkable how free they are. And the last thing, the policy I didn't like, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, new brigades. new brigade, well, new commander. What does he know? How does anybody learn and bounce off each other? But now apparently that's ceasing. There will be no new brigades. That's the best news I've heard all year. But likewise, the Swedes, the British, the French, they want their brigades with all their shiny equipment, people they train. And is it good, is it bad? I don't know. But it's a showpiece. It's a showpiece because it's marketing. We created that. Look at our Caesars firing. Look at our FAMAS or whatever they've got. Their Capi Blanc. You know, there's it's not tactical. Certainly not tactical. It's not with a strategic ambition, but with a political and cultural ambition guiding it all. I hope that doesn't sound too negative. I hope I was able to articulate it. It's very difficult. I don't like to talk out of my realm, but these were all things that I have genuine experience with. I don't know how long this video is, but yes, I needed to make a question and answer video because I need to produce content. Starsky taught me this. Your biggest fans will not help you grow. And when people write in the comments, I don't mean to be derogatory, oh Brandon, don't worry, you don't need to post content for us. Well, the money stops. The money stops, honey. No honey, no money. That's the fact, okay? So I'm not here for, what am I gonna do with that? I like that more. You know, I really would. Keeps me awake and alive. I also bought 10,000 euros worth of drone components. Not only Mavic this time, but to start getting VTX chips. VTX, the telemetry, the video feedback from an FPV. State drones, and a lot of state drones come from Europe as well. Could be from volunteers that make them in Ukraine, but generally they're of higher quality. Anything that comes outside of Ukraine tends to be inferior, and the VTX is the most common component that needs to be changed. It cost about $100 each. Yeah. funny little thing about that. Dan Rebar needs a reb. What's a reb? It's Tronjammer. Radio Electrona Boreticia. See, Brandon. Yeah. His donor would not pay a Ukrainian to do it because it didn't work with their organization. This is what I get from all the organizations. We can't send money to Ukraine. Do you know how much money of yours I send because I'm a private individual to a Privat bank, to Nika, to Sasha, Yaroslava? If I can't get it for you at the time, yeah, okay, buy it. Send me the photo, the picture. You know the game. One of my defense contractors that I deal with, that was a proper company in Europe. They sent the money, Dan's money for the reb, and then your PayPal had to go to Dan and his team so they can pay the Ukrainian in the garage who makes better stuff than the defense contractors. But yeah, my suppliers, I have good relations. They were willing to do that because as helpful as this person is, and thank you very much for helping my friend Dan, but I hear this all the time. We can't send money to Ukraine. You know, Tilda was explaining a process to an American who came once, and they had a project, but it turned out it was much more efficient to do in Ukraine. And the person said, well, we can give you the social media, we can give you everything for your donors, right down to spreadsheets, to pie charts. It was good money for something. Not even what we raise a month, you know, but you wouldn't know that, the way they act about like all the red tape. And he kind of more or less said, well, what will I do? But it's like, it all adds up at the end of the day. You will get all the accountability and everything, and we can do it better and cheaper. But I'm not saying everything I do is the cheapest. I try to keep it down. I think it's very reasonable. But I guess it just goes back to those political ambitions, like the French Brigade, which is widely publicized to be a failure now. It has to look good on the outside. And that's human nature. I was in sales for years, and it should be so easy for me to get my head around. But I guess that's why I don't know. I think I should stop there. Do you know I missed my first boat? I got home yesterday. I did my laundry. I played with Masa. I loaded the van again. Got to get back down to the south of Sweden. It's, 6-hour drive. Next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock at night. Leaving. I sleep on the ecoflows with my little IKEA mattress. I got a diesel heater in the back of the van. I set it for 3 hours. Yeah, I can make it to Karlskrona. No problem. On the ferry. I slept for 5 hours. And yeah. So I took a boat from Ystad. Thank God with Stena I got the money back, because it would have been 200 euros lost. But I'm tired. I'm really, 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 really tired. But do you know when I'm tired, that's where my motivation comes from? It's like a plant. Do you know when people grow marijuana? You shock the plant in the last couple of weeks. I have some unsavory cousins. You drop the temperature and then it forces the plant. The stalk becomes really hard and rigid, and it buds more. If you give me ease, I become weak. Yeah, steel sharpens steel. This is when I'm at my best. This is when I'm at my absolute best, and I can, who knows how long I can maintain this. But it certainly fills the hole in the soul.
Are you an anonymous person, Joachim? Are you scared of the Russians?
No.
Hi.
Hello. No, I'm not. Well, maybe I should be scared, but
Maybe you
I
should.
don't care.
Hey Masa, are du glad? Yeah, nobody's scared of Russia anymore. It's like, oh, that thing. Right.
My behavior on social media is very clear.
Is it? Yeah. You got to behave on social media though. Don't send any inappropriate pictures to me anymore.
No, I won't.
All right. We just got back and we're going again in my own van, not one of Tilda's. So we'll make space here. Maybe sleep on the mattress tonight. Who knows? Might get lucky all by myself. No, Masa's not coming to Ukraine. Well pleased with all that, guys. Oh God. I live the luxury life. So that's some dirty old IKEA mattress. About 1.5 inches thick, some cardboard boxes, and we're sleeping on ecoflows tonight for about 3 hours or I'm gonna die.